Alright, we are connecting. Alright, folks, we are sending data, so give it a second. Alright, folks, we are here. Welcome, friends. We're here live on Twitch. What we are going to be doing today is a board I am very excited to build and share with all of you on stream. So, this is a full-size board. As you can see, this is a massive keyboard case. I literally just got this board in, so we're gonna build it right here on stream, everybody. This is a board I'm very excited for. So this is a board, as you can see, from Linworks. Now, Linworks is a Chinese-based design studio, and they've been making boards for a few years, and I've really wanted to get my hands on one of their boards for a long time. So I'm really excited to finally have one, and Linworks is one of those more respected design brands within the keyboard hobby. And I was kind of waiting for a current design to kind of come to the market that I really like. Updating my title, sorry about that, everybody. So this is a really cool board. So we're going to kind of open this together. I haven't even looked inside to kind of see everything, so we're going to kind of go through it together. So I ordered this as a board I just got off Group Buy. So this is a board I joined the Group Buy in like January, February of earlier this year. So took, I don't know, about 6 months for it to deliver to me from the folks over at Key Spencery. Huge shout out to Frether over at Key Spencery. When they did this Group Buy, it was primarily just for people who were living in China. As soon as I saw this board announced, I knew like this was the Linworks board I wanted to have. So I reached out to Frether, the guy who runs Key Spencery, and I asked him, hey man, like, would you be willing to open up this Group Buy to someone who lives in the United States? And Frether said, yeah, dude, just as long as you're cool paying shipping and whatnot. And he said, yeah, cool. So huge shout out to Frether over at Key Spencer and just the whole team over there for allowing me to join this Group Buy. This is not a sponsored stream by Key Spencery or Linworks. This is a board that I purchased with my own money, and I'm just really happy to showcase it and build it with all of you today. So really nice case. So let's kind of go through. We'll kind of go to my top case first. So we'll kind of pull these two things out. So we'll kind of show y'all what do we have here. So these are going to be our PCBs, and this is a full-size 100% board. So let me pull one of the PCBs out. So I ordered two PCBs. This is a non-standard PCB layout, so I always want to make sure I have a spare PCB on hand. So, ooh, it's purple. Nice. So let's just kind of see this. Oh my gosh, this PCB is massive. So really cool. I'm really excited to have this board. So again, it is called the Linworks Dolphin Max. So it's really cool. So really cool PCB. Again, I opted to go for solder. Again, that's just kind of if you've been following my stuff for a while at this point, you kind of know solder is just kind of the way I like to roll. So we have some nice solder information right here. A lot of really good layout support. I see ISO support, split backspace. Again, multiple different spacebar options here. You can do split right shift. And of course, you can have different options on your numpad area. So this is going to be a really cool build. So a really gorgeous PCB. So we're going to put this to the side for right now. So put this back in the little baggie it came in. And then we'll come back to the PCBs in a little bit. So I just want to put those aside. So we have two big PCBs. And again, I always, my rule of thumb and advice too, when you're ordering boards, especially boards that are really custom, make sure to get a spare PCB. It's an extra 40 bucks. And if a PCB breaks down the road, or if you bust a PCB, some boards, it can be a massive nightmare trying to track down PCBs for them, especially when they're using fully custom PCBs. So I always have I just always have a spare PCB for all my boards on hand, just in case. So it's better to have it and not need it. Now here, I'm assuming this is going to be our plate. So let's see. Ooh, it looks, I think, oh man, we get a red plate for this one. Just kind of throw that to the side. Ooh man, this plate's awesome. I love red plates. So there's our plate. This is a massive plate. So again, this plate is one giant assembly, which is really cool. So we have our plate, and also this is a Cherry MX build. So this would be a relatively quick stream. It's not going to be as quick as our Geon F1 722 stream, but I'd say probably like 90 minutes. Probably. Again, this should be a relatively quick build to put together. So it's not like doing an Alps full size, which, oh my gosh, that would take forever. So, but it's really kind of cool seeing all of this layout support here. So again, we are doing ANSI. So again, we don't have really ISO support for this. So really cool plate. Really like it. So I'll put that to the side. Now I want to kind of see our star of the show, which is going to be our case from Linworks. So this is what I'm really excited to get. Oh, we got some. Let's see what these are. These are going to be our feet. So we'll put those. We'll put that on. All right. Oh my gosh, this thing is absolutely massive. So let me just kind of pull it out of the case, and then we can kind of, oh my god, it also weighs a ton. Holy cow. So this thing is gigantic. I mean, it is a full size. So, all right. So this is a Linworks board. So again, I'm literally seeing this for the first time, and I wanted to do it on stream. So this is also my, yeah, so we got Linworks. Hello, we got someone in the chat. Hello. Yeah, Linworks, they're really cool. So welcome, folks who are tuning in. So I literally just got this. So the people who ordered this through the Key Spencery group buy are just getting this board. So I was one of the lucky people to get one of these. Oh my gosh, that is gorgeous. Oh man, that is so friggin' pretty. Again, you guys are seeing my live reactions. So I have not seen this board in person. So I opted to go with the cream colorway. Oh my gosh, look at this. This is a freaking tank. I was just gonna go through the aesthetic. So I opted to go for wind keyless, and I'm a big fan of beige / cream colorways. You're gonna kind of see the key. I should go over keycap selection in a little bit, but oh my gosh, this is awesome. So you got that. So it says SR Industries and Linworks. So this was a collaboration board. We got that nice Dolphin branding for Linworks. This coating is gorgeous, by the way. It has a little, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but you can see it has a little bit of gloss. This is not really like, I wouldn't say it's like glossy, like a piano finish, but it's not like satin. So it has a little, it's like semi-gloss, and it looks really nice. So I think, so major props to the manufacturer. I think this coating is really good. Let's look on the back here. This is just, so we have this, most of the weight's going to be in the gigantic brass weight that takes up almost half of the bottom of this case, so it's absolutely massive. And there we go, we got an off-center USB-C port right there, and also just the beautiful thing of Linworks, you have these awesome curves. I'm going to do it with my small camera of my face, just so you can see that profile. So Linworks is kind of known for the kind of that humped profile, like a humpback whale or like a humpback of a dolphin. So that's really kind of cool. So that side profile is just awesome. Those curves, that's kind of Linworks' kind of trademark kind of design cue. So it's really nice. Another thing I'm noticing, this is an internal screw design for the board. It's not internal, like hidden screw designs are really cool. I'll just be completely honest. This isn't really a criticism, it's just a nitpick. I'm not the biggest fan of hidden screw designs because sometimes if I need to like swap out keycaps or take the PCB out, I often forget where the freaking screws are. So it's kind of like a game of trying to find all the screws. And sometimes if you have to be really careful because you might scratch the internal finish of your case. So it's just a nitpick. Honestly, it doesn't really affect the performance or my overall feedback of the board. I'm just saying I'm not the biggest fan of internal screw. Hidden screw designs, but overall, this is a gorgeous board so far. Just my overall first impressions. I am very happy for this board. So again, we have a standard AT101 layout, and we actually have 4 additional keys here at the top, which we can program to like media or macro keys. I'll kind of go over keycap selection. So we'll have the kind of board just kind of be here in the background. I'll kind of go over switch selection for this board. So we are soldering today. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be going with some linear. So we're going to be going with some Blue Cheese V1s from KeyGeek. These are really cool switches. Again, they have about a 52 gram actuation force. So we're going to be using about 105 of these switches in this board today. So we got more than enough for the build. And then for keycap selection, this is going to be a temporary keycap set that we're going to utilize. But for today, we are going to be using GMK Classic Beige. Now the keycap set that will be the final keycap set for this particular board is going to be GMK Hyper Beige. But that set is currently on group buy. So I'm not going to be seeing that set probably till after the summer. So just for the purposes of today, this set is going to be going on this board until I get Hyper Beige in. So this is a really nice set. I really like this board. Really like this keycap set. So it's going to be perfect going with the beige colorway of this particular board. So I'm going to put the keycaps and switches to the side and also move the case out of the way. We're going to focus on lubing our stabilizers and then attaching those to the PCB. So this is a full size. We're going to have 8 stabilizers that we got to lube. So stabilizers are going to take a little bit of time today. So let me put the board to the side and we're going to go through stabilizers. So for stabilizer choice and selection, we're doing Duroc stabilizers. I'm a big fan of Duroc stabilizers. Some people kind of criticize them, but at the end of the day, as long as you lube them correctly, you should not have any problems with Duroc stabilizers. So we're just going to kind of, these are some old stabilizers I took out of an old build. So we're just going to kind of re-lube them. So let me just kind of separate them. These were kind of taken out of a old build, so I just kind of got to lube these ones again. So just add a little more lube, but that's what we're going to be doing today. So this will probably be the part of the build that probably takes the longest besides soldering. So, but overall, this is going to be a really straightforward build. That's the nice thing about Cherry MX. It's very refreshing to go to Cherry MX builds and to have it be so straightforward, no troubleshooting and no dead switches and none of the hoops and hurdles that I deal with when I build Alps. So this is very nice. So very, very refreshing to go do some Cherry MX builds. So, and we're just going to pull that one out and just get my little rag here, wipe off my hands. And then we're going to go. So let me get my lube. We're going to be using some dielectric grease. And also in the background here, I have another full size. I've been on a full size kick lately. So Dolphin Max will actually be my third full size. So this is my Matrix Labs Falqua 100 NG edition. So this is an absolutely insane board. I absolutely love this thing. And then I'll show you another full size I got in recently. I didn't actually build it on stream. I have the DN Works 925. So we're gonna have, this is gonna be round out a third full size that's fully custom. So one thing about full sizes, just to note, they are not cheap. Especially when you get into the custom game, full sizes are very niche within the mechanical keyboard hobby. Outside of like your big time manufacturers like QWERTY Keys or Keychron, who have economies of scale and can produce thousands of units and to bring costs down, most of these these 3 full sizes I've just kind of shown you are very expensive. These are going to be on your very boutique high end in terms of price point. Again, all these boards were very small run. Just because the demand isn't there, and when you make less of a product, you're unfortunately going to have higher costs. So that's just one thing to note. This Lindenworks Dolphin Max is not a cheap board. It is very expensive. Again, you're looking north of $500 for a Dolphin Max if you want to track one down. The group buy is concluded, so if you want to find one, you'll have to find one on Mech Market for someone who purchased it in the group buy. But you're probably going to be paying north of $500 to $600 for one of these boards. So it's, again, these are very, very niche, very boutique, and they have a very small audience of people who are willing to pay for them. So that's just the kind of thing with these boards. So now some people will say, well, this is a very expensive board. What can't this do that a Keychron can't do? And I'll be completely honest, nothing. Again, part of what you're doing for this premium, you're supporting the name, you're supporting the designer. Or you want something that is you like boards that are very small run. So that's just the thing to note. This is not a cheap board by any means. This is not a budget board by any means. So that's just one thing to kind of point out. This is a very, very expensive board. But that's something I'm very interested in terms of keyboard hobby. I really like the high-end, super boutique stuff. And again, this was a very small run group buy. I don't know how many. I could probably talk to Further over at the guys at Key Spencery, but I don't think they sold a lot of these units. I know they met the MOQ. Obviously, I have a unit in hand, but this is a very small run board. Just because the demand isn't there. Now, if someone wants a full size, one custom full size I would really recommend. Is the Vertex S100. That was about a board that ran a group buy early this year for about $220, which is fantastic for that price point. I actually have 2 of them coming in, one for me and one for a friend that we kind of joined together to just buy them together in the group buy. And also the Vertex Seal. That's also not a cheap board, but it's cheaper than all 3 of these full sizes I just showed on stream. So that's just one thing to note. So we're getting into like the super boutique, bougie kind of segment of boards. So that's just one thing to note. So again, if some people who are maybe newer to the hobby probably will have a heart attack if I tell them what this board actually costs. But one thing about the hobby is like some of the coolest stuff within the hobby is going to be really expensive, unfortunately. It's just kind of the nature of the game, especially when you get into these smaller run boards. It's just kind of the nature of the game. Not because many of these boards, the reason we do group buys is as annoying and as frustrating as they are. It's just kind of how the market works. Most boards are made by small designers who don't have hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars worth of capital to buy several thousand units of product and then sit on that product. So most of the time why we do group buys is they're only trying to sell a handful of units, maybe 100 units or 200 units. And then once those units are sold, then that order is then sent off to the manufacturer. The boards are manufactured. And then in a few months, the boards are then delivered to customers. Again, the group buy model, I'll be completely honest, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it's just kind of the nature of the game to get into like the really, really kind of obscure boutique stuff within the hobby. It's just kind of the frustrating nature of the game. But again, there are some great things that go on group buy that are relatively reasonable. Again, also just with group buys, just be mindful. Again, you want to go through like reputable vendors. Like I bought this through Key Spencery. They're a very reputable vendor. They know what they're doing. And again, they have a lot of trust within the community for what they do overall. So that's just something that's just to be mindful. I know some people are scared of group buys, especially a lot of some of the COVID horror stories. People doing group buys is never hearing anything and getting scammed out. Again, I genuinely get why people don't like them. Another option you can do if there are really cool boards that are on group buy, you're just not comfortable with group buy, wait till people get the boards in hand or wait till extras. Usually when these group buys happen, the vendors will usually order some extras, maybe for extra parts, or just additional units to sell once the units are in hand. So you can so if there's a board you really want, you can wait for extras, and that takes away a lot of the risk of the group buy. Or you can just wait and put want to buy posts on Mech Market and see if people who purchase the boards on group buy are willing to sell their boards. So that's I've gotten some boards in my personal collection through people who initially purchased the board on group buy and then after the fact realized they don't want the board and they'd rather sell it. So that's just something to note with group buys. But this is a really cool board. Linworks is a designer. I've been wanting a board for a really long time. It's just, I don't know. I have a lot of their really cool designs were their TKLs. And I have a lot of TKLs and I wanted something different. And when I found out Linworks was going to run a full size, I'm like, sign me up. That's different. Not a lot of people are doing full sizes within the custom space. And it's really cool. So full size I really like. For me, I'm a kind of a weird user. Like I really enjoy full size boards. And I also enjoy 40% boards. So I'll enjoy like the big gigantic boards and like the tiny little boards. So like on stream the other day, we built a frickin' 40% from GeonWorks, which is awesome. Which my title on my stream says GeonF1722. I'm very sorry, but it should be Dolphin Linworks Max. So we're having fun here today, folks. So it's a really good one, but I'm really enjoying the Dolphin Max. I cannot wait to do a sound test and type on this thing and start installing switches. We just got to get these stabilizers. That's the one thing with full sizes. You got 8 stabilized keycaps, so lubing 8 stabilizers, it takes time. So you want your stabilizers to be tuned, and you don't want them to rattle. So we're going to take our time, but yeah, we got a lot of stabilizers. We got a full set of stabs we got to do for this one. So really cool board. I really dig it. I really love it. So really, really great board. So I'm really excited to have this one in my personal collection. So, oh sweet, thank you, Seth. Thank you, Fergustal, for watching. Yeah, I hope you're one of those people who's either interested or someone who got yours on group buy and you're still waiting for it to get delivered. So, really cool board. But I really enjoy like working with it. But yeah, Linworks, they're really cool. I'm on their Discord server and the people over there are really nice. I mean, most of the people are speaking Chinese over there because that's, again, Linworks is based in China. But they're really cool. Linworks is just a really cool designer, and I heard about them, I'd say, halfway through last year, and that's why I was just kind of doing my research, and Linworks just had designs I really liked, but I really wanted something that wasn't TKL and wasn't a 65. And again, when this board was announced, I was very, very excited this board came to fruition. So very, very nice board. I really enjoy having it. So it's a cool board. So it'll be really cool. But overall, it's a really nice board. So again, this is the most glamorous part of the build. We got to do these stabilizers. So once these stabs are lubed up, we'll assemble them and then screw them into the PCB, and then we'll start inserting switches. And then we'll fire up the soldering gun, and we'll solder everything and get some keycaps on this puppy. So pretty straightforward build, nothing too crazy. But I really am. This is a board I've been very, very excited for. I've gotten a couple of my boards from Key Spencery. I've had 3 group buy boards with them. I have 2 of them. I'm waiting on one more board on group buy from Key Spencery, which is the Diversity TKL, which is an XT column TKL, which is like freaking sick. So I'm really excited to get that one, and I have the switches and the keycaps for that board already on hand. So whenever they get those in hand, I am like very, very excited to get that board in as well, because that's another like really kind of sick board. I have some really cool plans for in terms of what I want to build it as. And we got a bunch of PCB. I got like 3 PCBs for that board because I knew that was a very unique and kind of unusual board, and I wanted to have all of the layout support that I could with that board. So we're getting it going. So just lubing stabs. Again, not the most glorious part, but hey, it is necessary. So we got to do this just so we can make sure our stabilizers don't rattle and make sure that they sound really awesome. But this is a really cool board. And overall, Linworks I think does really cool stuff in the keyboard hobby. And I hope they continue making like just interesting boards and have interesting designs. I think they've done. There's some other boards from the Linworks. I'd love to have one of their TKLs eventually, but like I said, I got their full size, so like I'm not in a rush to get their TKL. So it's pretty good. So we're just making our way through doing it, but yeah, it's good times. So we're just getting all this stuff lubed up, and then we'll get going. So just kind of good vibes, everybody. Going through with this particular board. So one of my personal favorites. Love it. Love it, love it. So yeah, almost done lubing the stabs. And then we can start putting in the wires, and then we'll put these on the PCB. So we got a pretty big PCB, so I'm kind of stoked to do these full sizes. And again, I got 2 other full sizes on the way. I have the Vertex Seal and the Vertex S100. So 2 full sizes from Vertex, which I'm really excited to get those whenever those come in. I think probably after summer, we'll see both of those boards. So it's really, really cool. We're going to get some really cool full sizes, and it's nice to have some proper full sizes that are like group buy boards, small run, not like mass-produced boards. So yeah, I really like full sizes, and I like that the custom space is really kind of embracing full sizes. There's some really great ones. I know Bull ran his Pangea. Really, personally, that board wasn't for me, but I know some folks who joined the group buy on that board, and when I know Bull is getting ready to deliver those to people, so that'll be really cool when the Pangea gets in people's hands. There's some other older full-size customs that are really cool, like the Fossil from Carolina Metworks, or the Dyno 106, which is another cool one. My friend Chicken Man actually helped design the Dyno 106, or the Dyno 104 back in the day, so really cool boards. But yeah, full sizes are definitely getting more love in the space, and also just a shout out to QWERTY Keys. I mean, their QK101, really cool full size for like $200. So I mean, if you really want a full size that gives you that custom feel and quality, but like not the hassle of dealing with the group buy, definitely go get a QK101. They have a ton of cool colors and things like that. So I mean, I have a lot of love for the people over at QWERTY Keys. They're really cool. I mean, they're doing a lot of great stuff, and how they're making a lot of really great boards and really great designs that usually are kind of reserved for the custom group buy side. It's really cool they're bringing that to mass market and to more available to more people. So the more people in the keyboard hobby, I think, is the better. That's really cool. I think this hobby is for everybody, and everyone should be able to enjoy how fun this hobby can be and the amazing community that it can be. So, all right, we got all those. So let's start assembling these puppies, and then we'll start focusing on wires. So let's just start putting our stabilizers together. So we got 8 total stabilizers today, folks, for the Linworks Dolphin Max. So really cool board. This board, it ran on group buy. Oh yeah, QK101 is a really dope board. I mean, I know a couple people who have gotten that board, and it's fantastic. Again, the people at QWERTY Keys doing some really good work lately. Again, how they are making their price points, what they are, is amazing. Even for the customers in the United States, it's still crazy that QWERTY keys is like targeting the price point that they are. So like I really recommend QWERTY keys for people who are who maybe are getting into the hobby. Like their stuff is great. Like I have some family members who I've used QWERTY keys boards. I built a Neo 65 for a relative for their home office setup, and they absolutely love it. So really great options. But yeah, this is way more bespoke. This board here today I was kind of talking about earlier is this is very much in the high-end boutique price point category. I don't mean to sound elitist, but this board is very much out of the price point of a lot of people, and I know when some people kind of find out the price of this board, they're probably going to say, what the hell is wrong with you? And I do not blame you. This is a $500+ board. So if you're interested in picking, if Keyspensory runs extras, or if you want to pick one of these up on Mech Market, look to spend between $550 and $600+ on this board. This is not a cheap board. But that's just the thing with just kind of economies of scale. This was a very small group buy, and there's not a lot of demand for full sizes, even in the custom space. So the people who have been running full sizes, like my Matrix Labs, my 100NG, my Darien Works 925, these are all north of $600 boards. So they are very, very expensive. Even if you find some of the older custom full sizes like Bowls Pangea or like the Vertex Seal, you're still talking $300, $400+ So, but even with QWERTY keys, again, the QK101 is probably one of the more expensive boards in their lineup. And it's just because the bigger the board, the more you're using more material, it takes more time to manufacture that. Oh yeah. Yeah, this was a very high-end group buy, but also a fun thing about this group buy, I want to give a shout out to the group buy vendor. This was run by Keyspensory. Keyspensory is based out of China. So they primarily, again, most of their market is going to be tailored to the kind of the East Asian market. But when I saw that this board was running on group buy, I knew I wanted it. But they initially, when they announced the group buy, they only advertised it as like China, Hong Kong, and like Macau only. So I reached out to the owner, Frether, over at Keyspensory, and I asked him, hey man, like, could you open it up to someone who lives in the United States? So I asked Frether, and it took him like a day to get back to me because of the time zone. And Frether basically messaged me and said, like, hey man, yeah, as long as you're willing to pay the shipping from China to the United States, like, we can absolutely get you to join the group buy. So I'm very thankful for Frether over at Keyspensory and the guys over at Keyspensory for allowing me to join the group buy. Because again, initially this group buy was mainly targeted for the East Asian market. I don't know how many people outside of East Asia joined this group buy. I know Black Simon featured this board in like his group buy reviews earlier in the year, so I don't know if that maybe gave it more attention to get people who weren't in China or like Hong Kong to join this. But overall, it's a really cool board. I'm very thankful I had the opportunity to purchase it. And again, this board is not for everybody. And again, I will be posting this on some of the forums later once it's fully built. And I know we're going to have people who are just going to be, their main gripe is it's too expensive. And I get that. This is for a very specific audience, very specific and very small buyer base within the mechanical keyboard hobby. Very, very few people in this hobby are willing to spend north of like $250, $300 for a board. I mean, to be completely honest, most people think it's crazy to spend more than $100 on a mechanical keyboard. So this is for a very specific niche audience. This is not a mass market board. And I don't want that to come off as like me being pretentious or being a gatekeeper. It's just, this is for a very specific audience within the keyboard hobby. It's the same thing with like Norbauer stuff. Like Norbauer, like if you're not familiar with Norbauer, like Norbauer primarily focuses on high-end bespoke custom Topre keyboards, and the prices he charges reflects that. Like he ran a Topre TKL that was $4,000. Now I personally think that's kind of insane. I mean, that's $4,000 MSRP. But is that for me? Absolutely not. But there is a very small specific audience that is for that board. So that's just the kind of thing that we're looking at when you look at these kind of super kind of high-end boutique boards. So that's just something to kind of note when you kind of look at these super, again, high-end, super boutique group buys. So, but again, I want to tell people, if you're looking for like a group buy custom, definitely keep an eye out for the Vertex S100. That group buy ran earlier this year, and the board was $220 for a full-size, full aluminum board with brass weights and all the bells and whistles that come with it. $220 is fantastic. So when the S100s start getting, I'm in that group buy as well. I think Vertex is aiming at probably after the summer to start getting those out to vendors, and then vendors will be sending that to the customers around the world. I really recommend people either pick up extras, or if you find people selling their S100s on Mech Market, like definitely try and pick up an S100. It's a really cool board where you get all of that high-end custom feel for not the high-end custom price. So you'll be able to get those probably around $220 on Mech Market, or if the vendors, I'm assuming the vendors will have some extras when all the units are delivered to the people who purchased in group buy. So the most you spend around $300. Yeah. Oh yeah, dude, I absolutely agree on that one. Trust me, I've done that with some boards. But yeah, it's really cool. But these are definitely some really cool boards. I think is really cool. So like again, I have three. I've been on a full size kick. So with the 2 Vertex boards and the full sizes I will have a total of 5 full sizes that are fully custom. So I have right here the Matrix Labs 100 NG. I paid MSRP for this board. If you try to find this board on Mech Market, people are paying stupid, absurd prices for this board. This is a cool board at MSRP, but it's still a tough pill to swallow at MSRP. But aftermarket prices in this board, like I don't know, I don't get it. And then this is the Darien Works DN Works 925. So I have GMK Striker on this one. So really cool. These are both in that kind of bespoke, super high end boutique price point range. And I'll kind of show off the case too for the Linworks Dolphin Max. So it's gorgeous. I'm a big fan of beige. So really nice board. Really enjoy it. So loving this board. So awesome board, and the bottom is just sick. So it has that brass weight is chunky, takes up like half the bottom, and it has this really nice dolphin on it. So really cool. So really awesome board. Can't wait to get it built. So we're almost done with the stabilizers, and we'll start screwing these in, and then we'll start putting in switches, and we'll fire up the soldering iron. So this is a pretty quick build. I mean, honestly, I'll probably be out of here in the next hour. Oh, it's a gorgeous board. I mean, if you can pick up, and the thing that's cool with Linworks, you can pick up some of their older boards for not that much money. Like if you can find like they've made 60%, 65s. They made a ton of TKLs. So Linworks boards are definitely attainable, especially like their 60, 65s. You can find them on Mech Market from time to time. They pop up, and you can get them for like between like $200 and $300. Sometimes a little less depending on which specific model or colorway it is. So yeah, if Linworks is like a designer you definitely would want, like you can definitely pick up some of their smaller boards. This board just carries that premium price tag because, again, you're making less of a product. It's going to cost more. So that's why, like someone like QWERTY Keys with the QK101, they can charge. There's two factors that makes, like, for example, use QWERTY Keys as an example. QWERTY Keys can charge like $200 or so for a QK101 because, one, they're making hundreds, if not thousands of units, and they also are a massive company, and they have millions of dollars worth of capital. So they can afford to purchase millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of product and then sit on that product, letting it sell over the period of several months or several years. But the guys over at Linworks, they are not in that financial position, so that's why they run their boards, and many other designers run their boards through the group buy model. It's just kind of how manufacturing and just kind of economies work, unfortunately. And again, group buys are frustrating. I really wish we didn't have. They really wish we didn't have to do them, but that's just kind of the nature of the game with group buys, unfortunately. But I think long gone are the days of group like the Rama Works days where Rama Works took a bunch of money and then told everyone to fuck off. Excuse my language, everybody, but I also have 2 Rama Works boards. I did not join the group buys. I bought those aftermarket. I was not going to deal with the whole Rama Works drama. I mean, my stance on Rama Works, their ownership sucked, but the products were good. So like I have a Rama Works thermal, and it's cool because the thermal was just rerun by Salvin. So if someone wants like a thermal, like their thermal, you can get the version 2 of the thermal made by Salvin, which is awesome. That's probably one of my all-time favorite boards. And then I also have a Rama Works Zenith, which is a collaboration with Ion Keyboards. Another really cool board, and you can get that for pretty affordable on Mech Market. They pop up from time to time, but yeah, overall just a really cool board. So I'm really excited to get this board built and be able to see again how it goes. So we're just getting these stabilizers lubed up, getting these lube on these wires, and then we'll screw these puppies in and tune them. So where do you keep? So honestly, the best way to do it. I mean, I'm gonna give him a recommendation for a content creator in the space. Again, he can be polarizing just because how strong his opinions are. But definitely check out Black Simon. Black Simon, just one thing about him, he does group buy reviews like every week. He goes through all the Geek Hack posts. People send him interest checks and group buys are running. Now he does it. The video streams are like 3 hours long, so they can be really lengthy. And another thing too with Black Simon, just take his opinion with a grain of salt. He's very set in his ways and he's very opinionated. But his group buy overviews every single week are really good to give you an idea of what boards are on interest check and are coming to group buy soon, or what boards are currently on group buy. But yeah, I think Black Simon is probably one of your best ways to kind of stay up to date with what group buys are going on. I just be mindful with Black Simon. He's a very angry man. And he's very opinionated. And sometimes I don't necessarily agree with all of his opinions on the keyboard hobby. Another one is just kind of scrolling the interest check and group buy page on Geek Hack. Geek Hack is like kind of the go-to keyboard forum. And then also just being in a lot of the Discord servers for a lot of these big companies. Like being in Discord servers for like a lot of the major vendors like Key Spencery or like Canon Keys, Novel Keys, Prototypist, like or OmniType. Like being in, or like DiviniKeys, like being in the Discord servers for a lot of those major vendors, because a lot of those vendors are going to be facilitating the group buy. So they're constantly posting updates on what boards they're going to be selling, what's the status of boards on group buy, like are they in manufacturing, are they being shipped, are they in hand at the warehouse and being packaged up. So it's a combination of like being in touch with people on like YouTube and being in the Discord servers, and also just following Geek Hack. Another really good website is called Group Buy Nation. It's a Group Buy Nation's okay, but Group Buy Nation is often very incomplete, especially for like obscure boutique high-end boards like this. So the big thing is just kind of having designers you kind of like, or like and just kind of being in touch with those communities. Like I'm active in a lot of different Discord servers, and I'm posting like my keyboard photography or like what I'm doing in terms of like working on keyboards, and you just kind of network and connect with people in the various online spaces. The one thing about the keyboard hobby I've kind of learned, I came here for keyboards, but as I've almost been in this hobby for almost 2 years, I've also made some very good friends and really good connections with people, whether I go to local meets, or connecting people through the custom commissions I've been doing. So I've also just kind of become really good friends with some people through this. So like being able to have those connections with people and being kind of in tune with what's going on in the hobby is really cool. Another person too I think is really good to follow, who's I think a nicer source of information for boards coming up in group buy, is Alex Odos. He's another really good creator who most of the boards running on group buy are probably going to go through Alex Odos' studio for him to either build on stream or to review on his social media channels. Alex is also connected with Novel Keys. So he has a lot of really good industry connections. So Alex gets a lot of the major boards coming on group buy. And unlike Black Simon, Alex will give criticism and genuine feedback on boards and how to make them better, but he does it in a constructive way and not like an angry or demeaning way, kind of like Black Simon does. So again, I love both creators. I love Black Simon. He's also entertaining, but I also just kind of take his opinion with a grain of salt. But Alex Odos is kind of that other end of the spectrum where, again, most of the big boards coming through group buys and even some of the smaller run boards are going to go through Alex Odos' studio to be built on stream or featured on his YouTube channel or his social media channel. So I definitely giving Alex Odos a follow on like either Instagram or on YouTube or Twitch is another really good way to kind of keep up to date with group buys. But like I said, there's a lot of companies that are really killing it in the keyboard space where you don't have to deal with the group buy. Again, like QWERTY Keys, I think is like one of my go-to recommendations. Like, Exactly, you don't have, most of their boards are absolutely awesome and they have great price points, and you don't have to wait. You don't have to deal with the hassle of a group buy. I really think, a company like QWERTY Keys, because they also own Owl Labs, which is, believe it or not, QWERTY Keys owns Owl Labs, which is kind of one of the OGs in terms of like high-end bespoke keyboard design studios. So it's really kind of cool. So there we go. So we got our stabilizers done. Nick, Nick, I don't know if this answers your question. Yes, I did. It's waiting for Dynacap, so it's just kind of sitting bare bones on my wall of keyboards. But yes, I did get it. So but yeah, so we're going to pull out the PCB. Yeah, but I got the H2H. It's waiting for Dynacap. So we're going to get my plate over here. So actually, I'll put that up here to the side. And then we want to grab our PCB. So we'll kind of go over the PCB again. This is a really cool board. That's really nice. So, oh my gosh, this PCB is massive. It's huge. So we'll kind of go over the PCB again. So this is the PCB. It has this nice whale on it because this is a whale of a board. What's really cool about this board, I went with solder, and I got 2 PCBs. I always recommend, if you're going to buy a board on Group Buy, especially a board that uses a fully custom, non-standard PCB, always get a spare PCB. It's an extra $25 to $50 on top of your board, but it's worth it. If for some reason a PCB gets fried, or you break it, or it just malfunctions, a board like this, trying to get a replacement PCB for this would be an absolute nightmare. So again, that's one thing I always recommend if you're going to do a group, especially these kind of bespoke high-end boards, definitely get an extra PCB. Again, you may never use the extra PCB, but it's nice to have it, especially if you want to keep these boards for a long time, and considering how expensive these boards are, you definitely want to have a spare PCB. That's just kind of a rule of thumb I always recommend. So, and the one thing that's also nice about this, yeah, so this is a really cool board. So, one thing I like about this board, it has a ton of layout support. So again, you have 7U bottom, you have 7U support, you have 6.25, you have step caps lock, you have split left shift, split right shift, you have ISO support, split backspace, which I think is like phenomenal. And you also have, again, all of your stabilized keys on your numpad can also be split. So that's really, really cool having all of this support on this PCB. So huge shout out to the team at Linworks, again, for giving us all the support. And I know their Hotspot PCB also had a ton of really great layout support. So that's one thing that's really nice. So I'm going to start putting in these stabilizers. So we got this is a 1.6 millimeter PCB, which I really like. I'm glad they didn't go with 1.2. I know over in the East Asian market, they're really big fans of 1.2 millimeter PCBs. I don't know. I like my thicker PCBs, but it's also PCB thickness can also give you different sounds, so that's really nice. So yeah, I'm really excited to get this board built. This is a board I've been bugging Feather for a couple weeks now. Like, yo, Feather, where's my order? So Feather just said, it's coming. So again, huge shout out to the guys over at Key Spencery. They're awesome. And again, I really want to say, again, just another thank you to Feather and the guys at Key Spencery for allowing me to join this group buy, because when this group buy was announced, they basically said it was East Asia only. Basically, it was like mainland China, Hong Kong, and Macau. That was available to. So I shot Feather and the Key Spencery guys a message on Discord, and I asked him, hey, I really want this board. Would you open it to someone in the United States? And Feather got back to me and he said, if you pay for shipping, you can absolutely join the group buy. I'm like, so really just a big thank you to Feather and the guys over there. Like, I'm very, very happy to have my hands on this really awesome board. So let's just make sure I put my stabs all in the right place. So really quick, I'm just going to put my plate on. I love this red plate. It's so cool. All right, we are looking money, everybody. Look at that. Look at that. Cool. All right, so we're going to screw these in. But yeah, the red plate is just awesome. I love me some red plates. So my 925 has a red plate, and it's phenomenal. So, all right, friends, we're going to screw these puppies in now. So, and the nice thing about this is a very straightforward build. Again, it's not like my Alps builds, which are just kind of a massive pain in the ass. These are very straightforward, easy builds. I love it when I get to do my MX builds, and just how easy they are, and there's no headache, and I'm not like getting frustrated, and the stream isn't like 4 hours long. So yeah, because we got some cool Alps builds coming up in the next few weeks. I'm just waiting on parts, so it's just an update on Alps stuff. I have one client commission. The board is over at the Cerakote shop, so it'll probably be there for a few weeks, so we're not going to do that one. But I have one client who's going to pay me on Friday for a 60% build for actually a Geon Frog Mini. So another Geon Frog Mini we're going to build on stream. So that's going to be really cool. And then There's another client who's doing, who's commissioning me to build a Frog TKL Alps assembly. So that's really cool. So we have a lot of cool stuff kind of coming in later down the pipeline. For a couple, we have some commissions coming up. But if anyone wants to custom commission build, whether it be Alps or a Cherry MX build, I'm happy to do it. Again, we can do custom CNC. We can do we can do custom Cerakoting or powder coating to really make it your own. Just note, if you do any like mods to the case, like with CNC or doing Cerakoting or powder coating, that does have a cost, and I do charge for that. So I just wanted to know that is not cheap. But again, I very much am happy to do custom coated boards as well for people. So yeah, thanks Epic. It's all good, man. We're gonna be on here probably in the next hour. But for those who are also, the VOD will be on my YouTube channel later today. So again, this is a relatively short stream. So we should probably be out of here in the next hour. Again, MX builds are very simple for me to do. I can crank them out pretty quickly. But really cool board overall. So I'm really enjoying this board, but it's a really, really nice board. So yeah, so we'll be posting the board. I'll be doing some once we get off stream, I'll do some product photography for the Dolphin Max. And again, I'll have it. You'll see it on my social media page. You'll see it on all the Discord servers, and you'll see it on Reddit. I haven't seen any posts of this board, so I'm probably going to be one of the first people to kind of share their Dolphin Max. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people, especially when I post it on Reddit, will have no idea that this board was a thing. And they'll also probably all have heart attacks when they look up the cost of this board. So, but like I said, this is for a very small audience. This is not a mass market appeal board just because of the cost. And like I said, does everyone need like a Porsche or like a McLaren? No. But are they cool? Absolutely. So, yeah, this is definitely in like you're like super high end bespoke boutique stuff. So it's pretty cool. But I genuinely enjoy working with boards like this because they're just really cool. And also, this board is one for my personal collection. This is, again, I purchased with my own money. This is not sponsored by Linworks. This is not sponsored by Key Spencery. This is something I did purchase with my own money. So it's a really, really cool board. And I love working with it. So it's super cool. So we have our stabs in. Awesome. Let me just tighten them down a little bit more. The stabs are installed. I'm going to do some more tuning on them. I think we'll be good to get started on installing some switches. And then once the switches are installed, we will then do the soldering. So this is a big board, so this will be a little bit longer for soldering, but it should be pretty straightforward. So there we go. Awesome. Oh, they got a little kitty right here. Look at that. Oh, there's a little kitty right there. I love it. So super cool stuff. So awesome. I'll put my screwdriver set away for right now. Let's get some additional lube from the tube here. That rhymed. I'm just gonna put a little bit of lube in my stabilizer just to make sure there's a little bit less rattle. So awesome. Yeah, just putting in just topping off these stabilizers, making sure they don't rattle. We don't want any rattle in our stabs. We want a nice sounding keyboard. Awesome. Let's just do the lube right here. Awesome. Awesome, perfect. Alright, we got some lube that's topped off. Alright. Yeah, there is our PCB with our stabilizer. So we got a full assortment of stabilizers in this board. So really cool board. So, alright, let's put that to the side. And we're going to get our plate now, and we're going to start installing switches. So let me just put the plate down. Oh yeah, there we go. Cool. And let's get some switches going, everybody. Look at that. So we're going with blue cheese. So we're going with Key Geek blue cheese linears that are at 52 grams from Keybay. So really cool one. So let's start putting in some switches. I'm going to put in the corners first. And then we're going to... Nice. Get that corner in. And then we'll do this corner right here. So making sure. All right, cool. And we'll do our stabilize key right here. Awesome. We're doing a stepped caps lock because is there any other way to do caps lock? Awesome. Ah, these are gonna sound so good. I'm so excited to get these in. Hold up. Make sure that pin is all the way through. There we go. Yeah, it's coming along. But yeah, we're gonna get this board looking awesome. So really sick board. I am very happy. This is again the Dolphin. Sorry, Linworks Dolphin Max. So really cool board. Again, this is a very high-end board. So not for the faint of heart, especially in terms of cost. So this, but it's a really cool board. I've ordered this a few months ago, and it's really cool. So really excited to get. Oh, let me just make sure. Oh, bent a pin. Damn it. Oh man, it's okay. There we go. Just making sure. So awesome. Putting all of our stabilized caps in. Yeah. Looking good. Looking good, friends. Looking good. Let's push that one in. Awesome. Yeah, but really cool board, everybody. So we're just kind of going through inserting switches. This is my first full size I'm building on stream, but it's not my. But this is my third full size for my personal collection. So really cool board. Really, this is a very nice bespoke board. Really cool stuff. Awesome. Putting them in. So we're doing our home cluster right now, and then we're just slowly putting in the switches. So again, we got about 105 switches on this board. So it's this is a big boy. So this is a big board. So this is a very massive board. So all right, get that. Let's make sure that went through. Yep, we're good there. Making sure everything is lined up. Awesome. Good time. Oh, it's gonna sound so nice when we get this in. Okay. Yeah, it's a cool board. So I'm really excited to get this one in, but we're just building our own stream today. Building our own stream. Yeah, cool. Really cool board. So we got some. Oh, we got a bent pin right there. So I've had these switches for a while, and I've been meaning to use them, and it's nice finally having them. Just wait, a little sweaty right there. Sorry, it's a nice warm LA day today. So there we go. So looking really good. Awesome. So we're almost done with our number pad. But yeah, it's going to be a really sick build once we are done with it. So I cannot wait. Awesome. So we're going almost there, folks. So there we go. Oh, there we go. Awesome. Man, it's coming out pretty good so far. I just want to check my pins so far. Looking good. Looking good. Yeah. So, yeah, it's looking good. Look at that so far. So, now we just got to do our F row next. Yeah, so a really cool board. Yeah, if you're in the one nice thing about the market, we are seeing a shift. More designers and more vendors are kind of seeing the value in full sizes. I mean, for a long time, really, if you wanted a full size, you were kind of limited to things like Keychron, which, no offense to Keychron, they make some cool stuff. There's just better stuff out there. So it's really nice that there are these kind of custom options on the market now. And if you're looking for like kind of, if this board is, if you see the price of this board and you have a heart attack, I don't blame you. But one thing I can tell you, which is really cool, is keep an eye out for the Vertex S100 keyboard. That's going to be, it ran on Group Buy earlier this year, but it's basically like kind of this quality of keyboard for like $220. And again, that's a Group Buy I joined personally with a friend. And one thing that's really cool is there should be extras, or if you want to track one down, you can try and get one from the people who purchased them on Mech Market, which would be really cool. And you should be able to get it close to MSRP. It's not going to be like crazy aftermarket, like trying to buy a unicorn or something like that, which still is crazy. People pay $2,000 for unicorns, but that's just that's neither here nor there. Why are you being so stubborn, Keypip? Alright, this switch is being really stubborn. I'm gonna come back to that one. Oh, what's up, Frank? Hi, dog. How you doing? We're building a Dolphin Max today, so super, super sick board. So I'm having fun with it today, everybody. So yeah, this is a dope board. So oh my God, why are you rating me, guys? I'm just an idiot who builds keyboards and has fun with it. Again, if you want to watch a professional, go watch like someone like Frank. So I am never going to claim to be a professional or a guy who actually knows what he's doing. I'm just a dude disguised as a dude playing another dude. I think that's the quote, but yeah. I know. Hey, I'm just a guy, okay? Like, I'm never going to act like I know everything. If there's something I don't know in this hobby, I will refer you to the people who probably do know it, like Frank or Teja or Matt or people careless, like people who actually know their shit, not me. So yeah, I will always refer you to the right source. God, these switches are being stubborn in this F row today. Man. Okay. Alright, I'm going to come back to the F row. These ones are being weird. I mean, yeah, there you go. Yeah, Frank. Yeah, I'll ask Frank. Frank knows what he's doing. Yeah, but this is a dope board. I mean, I'll just, for those of you kind of tuned in, this is the Linworks Dolphin Max full size. One thing that's I'll just gonna give a shout out. This group buy was run through Key Spencery. When the group buy ran like January, February earlier this year. But when the group buy was announced, it was initially only really for East Asia. So like mainland China, Hong Kong, and Macau really were the only places they were going to run this board. So I reached out to Key Spencery and I asked him, hey, would you sell this to someone in the United States? And Frether got back to me. And he said, yeah, dude, as long as you pay for shipping, we'll let you join the group buy and you can purchase this board. So I'm really grateful to the guys over at Key Spencery for giving me the opportunity to join this group buy. I don't know how many people across... holy shit, why are there so many people here? What did you guys do? Oh my gosh, hi friends. Okay. Sorry for my language. Oh my God, I'm just a guy. But yeah, big thank you everybody for joining in. We're building the Linworks Dolphin Max. I'll probably take a break from switches to kind of showcase the case. So Linworks is a really cool design studio. I had one of their boards for a really long time, and I got the opportunity to join this group by earlier this year. Linworks has been in the hobby for a while. I'm gonna show it on like kind of my POV because my top-down cam is just so big. But Linworks has kind of been known for that kind of side profile. You can kind of see those curves on the side of the board. That's just kind of one of their kind of distinct kind of trademarks and design language. So it does have, yes, it does have the Dolphin side, which is really kind of cool. You can kind of see those curves. Let's see if my top-down camera can kind of capture it a little bit better. It does have those curves. Sorry, it's just so this thing is just so massive. So really cool board. It's really heavy. I opted to go with the cream colorway. It's a hidden screw design, which be completely honest, I'm not the biggest fan of hidden screw designs, but hey, it's a really gorgeous board. I'll let it go. And then here's the back. So this brass weight is absolutely massive. It takes up like half of the bottom case, which is really cool. And also it is a top and bottom case design, so that's why we have our hidden screws. So you can kind of see the seams right here of where that, once you unscrew it, that's where again, kind of the top of the board kind of comes through. So really cool board, really, really enjoy it. So it's a really good board. The one thing I will say, this is a very expensive board. This is not for, when I tell you the price, it's not for the faint of heart. You're talking this was a $500+ board. I know for some people that might give them a heart attack. I just know this is for a very specific type of audience. Is everyone in this I know there's not a lot of people in this hobby who have that kind of money, and I completely understand it. But there is a segment of people in the hobby who this type of price point and this type of board appeals to them. So I know, especially when I post on mechanical keyboards later today, I know people are going to look it up and have a heart attack for the price point, the same way people had a heart attack when I posted my 925 like a month ago. So, but these boards like this are cool, and there is still definitely an audience for them. And now these are not mass market boards. This was a small group buy. So, oh yeah, I think it was about $550, $600. I think after shipping, it was over $600. This was not a cheap board. So some of these switches are being stubborn on this plate, so I'm just having to be a little more finicky on this one. So I mean, I've been on a full size kick. As you guys can see, I'm one of the I'm one of the crazy people who has like the Matrix 100 NG. I also have the Vertex Seal and the Vertex S100 on group buy. I didn't do the Pangea. No offense to Bull, I love Bull. He's a cool dude. The design language of the Pangea really didn't appeal to me. And that's no offense to Bull. He's a fantastic designer, and he does doing amazing stuff in the hobby. The design didn't speak to me. So I really wasn't, the Pangea just wasn't for me. Same way like this board, it may not be for you. But the Pangea is definitely a cool board. I know Bull is working on getting those delivered to the group buy customers. Why are these switches being so freaking stubborn? Sorry, friends. Like, I'm having trouble getting some of these switches, and like the numpad and everything was fine. But like some of these switches just are not going in. So hey, that's the benefit of doing this on like. Oh, cool. So intro S100. I hope it's. So I don't know what kind of mount it is. I'll be completely honest. I don't know actually. I think it's top mount. I will let you know when I build it. So, I mean, I haven't gotten that far in my life yet. So, I literally just got this today. So, like, if you look earlier into the stream, you're going to see, like, my live reactions to this particular board. So, this is as I got it. So, it's a pretty interesting board. And I'm just very excited to have this board on hand. It's just a really beautiful board. And I've always wanted a Linworks board. And to be able to finally have one of their boards in my collection is really nice. So, yeah, it's probably the sandwich mount. I know Linworks is kind of a big fan of that. So, we're just going to kind of see. Let me see where my spacebar is going. Spacebar setting. But one thing that's really cool about this board, there's a ton of support on this PCB, which I think is really nice. So, really, really cool board. And again, for those of you who are here, I got some cool build streams coming up. I've been in the hobby for a couple of years, but I have I'm getting the opportunity to review some boards that are coming up on group buy as part of their promotion. So there's a board called the QFRO 100. It's an F-Rollless full size, and one thing that's cool about it is it's both compatible with Cherry MX and also Alps. So I've also been kind of making a lot of modern Alps conversions to modern boards. So that's a really cool board. I'm really excited. I'll be checking out probably by the end of the month. And another board I'm going to be checking out, if you've heard of Luke Barron, he runs a design studio called Barron Boards. And he's working on a board called the BP1, which is a McLaren P1 themed board. So I'm going to be building one of his prototypes on stream probably next week when he's going to be mailing it out to me this week. And then there's a couple other boards. I can't say anything right now, but Again, I'm just enjoying the ride and just again having fun, sharing information with people, and just kind of making friends and just kind of learning about how cool this hobby can be. There's a lot of great people I've had the opportunity to meet. And also, I'm gonna have a few of my Alps builds over at Keep Life next month, which I'm really excited. So major shout out to Frank and his team of people running Keep Life. I cannot wait to meet a bunch of people, and I want you guys to try a bunch of my Alps builds and hopefully convert people on wanting an Alps build in their collection. So it'd be really cool. So. Really cool time, but I'm really excited for Keep Life next month. It'd be really nice to meet a bunch of you and just say hello and hang and also meet some folks face to face. So just looking at these switches right now, but we're getting it going. Almost there. These switches are being a little more stubborn than I wanted. Also, these are, just for anyone who's joining, these are, yeah. Oh, yeah. The BP1 is definitely a cool board. So this, I'm using Kiki Blue Cheese V1s. I got these from Keybay Tech up in Canada. So again, shout out to Chester, who's one of my buddies. I have a couple of Chester's boards in my personal collection. So Chester's like one of my favorite people. Hold up, I'm on stream right now. Okay, someone's grabbing something. So, but yeah, it's a good time, everybody. So yeah, sorry, there's someone's grabbing something, but it's good times, everybody. So as we can kind of see, we're just kind of going through. But yeah, again, huge shout out to Frank and the team over at Keep Life. Again, I'm really excited to meet a bunch of people, and we can also just kind of come together and see a bunch of really cool boards. So I should be classic sandwich mount for this particular board, so I'm not going to really give an exact answer. I literally haven't even opened up the case yet, so I literally got this board like an hour ago, so this is kind of like my live reaction to this particular board, but it's really cool so far. So, but we have about 105 switches on this, so this should be relatively quick, which is really nice. So I'm really excited to get this board going. So we got almost there, folks. But my F-Row is being really friggin' stubborn. So, it's the QFRL 100. So it's you can look at its page on Geek Hack. It's on the interest check page. You look at QFRL 100. One thing that's really kind of cool about it is it's going to be both compatible with Cherry MX switches and also Alps switches, which is cool. So it's an F-Rowless full size. And one thing that's really cool about it, I actually was working with the designer and also Carolus over at carolingian.com to design an Alps plate for it. So the designer had pretty much the design and the PCB pretty much done and the case done, but he needed Alps plates. He wasn't familiar on how to design those. So I reached out to my friend Carolus over at Carolingian, and I worked with Carolus and the designer to help design the actual plate that people are going to be using for Alps on the QFRL 100. So that's really kind of cool that we're going to be able to give people that option to utilize for their build, which is going to be awesome. So I really am a big fan of Alps, and if you're interested in Alps and you're going to be at Keep Life, I will have a few of my Alps builds on display there for people to kind of pick up, to type on, to try and see if they like it. Alps, I really recommend everyone have an Alps build in their collection. They're really fun. They are a lot of work, so if you want an Alps build and don't want to do the work, definitely you can reach out to me. I'd be happy to build you one. I've been doing a bunch of commissions lately. I'm doing a commission probably on stream later this week, which will be really cool for a 60%. I also have a guy mailing me a Frog TKL that we're going to build on stream for him. So really been getting into the commission game. I have one client build that's over at my Cerakote guy. So if you're interested in something like super one of one or one of a kind, we can do if you want to do custom CNC mods to a case, or if you want to do custom coding or Alps, I got you. There's all kinds of crazy crap we can do to boards. So. But yeah, people review bombed me today. I love it. Someone invaded my chat. I love it. So hello, friends. So like I said, I'm just a guy. So if you want proper entertainment, go to Frank's stream or something like that. But yeah, I'm just here. I'm just a guy. So I'm just a guy building the keyboard. So if that suits you, cool. So we're almost there, folks. This F-Row is just being really stubborn today. I don't know why it took me this long to put all these stinking switches in, but. Really cool board, but yeah, this is my third full size in my personal collection, which is cool. So I got my Matrix Labs 100NG, which is pretty crazy. That's a really sick board. One board I really love. So it's a really good board. But yeah, it's a really good board, and I got really lucky tracking this board down because Matrix Lab, I don't know why they only made 70 of these stupid things, which is stupid to me. They should have made a bajillion of these, but they only wanted to make 70 of them. So I got really lucky in how I got mine. But yeah, and then I also have again Darian's 925. So again, all three of these full sizes are absurdly expensive. So like the average person in this hobby is probably gonna like have a heart attack when I tell them how much it costs. Yeah. Oh, it's ridiculous. I really don't. So like for this board, I love Matrix Labs. But they had very specific requirement. It was a raffle, and you had very specific requirements. You had to have bought a board from Matrix Direct within the last 2 years on a group buy. I have Matrix boards. I bought them all secondhand, so I didn't qualify, and they only had 70 units available. And I didn't qualify, and I knew I never win the raffle, so I knew I wasn't gonna get it. But then when these boards were delivered to the winners of the raffle in I think March of this year, and I posted on the Matrix. I kept bugging people on the Matrix Discord like, hey, if anyone who got 100 NG wants to like let theirs go, like let me know, like I'll take it off your hands. And a guy who was local to me here in Southern California messaged me and he said like, hey man, like I have 100 NG, like I just realized now I don't want it and I'd rather just take the money. And he sold this to me at MSRP. So I got really lucky here. So, I mean, I don't know, Frank, you have a lot of power. You just don't know it. I don't know, man. You control the key. You have the keys to Keeb life in the kingdom. I don't know. But yeah, so like just the way this board was sold, I really don't agree with it. Like Matrix Labs has a pretty loyal fan base and following. They could have made a metric truckload of money selling a full size. And people would have paid the 700 MSRP for this board. They would have sold a lot of them. So it's just, it doesn't make sense to me, but I don't know. I don't know Albert. I haven't talked with Albert and the guys over at Matrix why they decided to do what they did with this board, but I don't personally agree with it. But hey, man, like, it's a cool board. And I'm happy to have one. I just think it's just kind of, I wish they made it more available. I mean, the My 2K, the TKL version was a standard group buy. Anyone could join that one. So a lot of people have the TKL version, but if you want like the full size, that's just it just kind of got crazy. So I don't know why it went that way, but hey, man, that's just I don't own Matrix. That's Albert and his crew. So just trying to push all these switches in. Some of them are just being really stubborn. There we go. Yeah, I think we got them all. All right, cool. Let me just do my bottom row, and then we should be good. Yeah. They were more focused on the TKL version. I know, like, I think I was talking to people too. Like, I think it's just economies of scale. Like, it's really expensive to make full sizes. Like, I mean, that's why we do the group buy model with things. So I get why these full sizes cost what they do. Like, these are not cheap boards to manufacture and to take the time in a factory to manufacture these things. So I get it, and the demand isn't there. So I mean, that's why I tip my hat to the people over like QWERTY Keys for doing the QK101 the way they've been doing it. I think that's a really cool board for not a lot of money. I think that makes like a proper, like, I mean, I'm not saying proper, but like gives you that custom full size feel and that quality, but you're getting something better than like a Keychron. So I think that's something that's really, really cool. So we're just kind of figuring out the spacing. Also for keycaps today, the final keycap set that's going to go on this is going to be GMK Hyper Beige. That's on group buy. Should be getting that after the summer, hopefully, if Novel Keys doesn't screw that up. But we're going to be putting GMK Classic Beige in the meantime on this board. I just got to pull out some keycaps. I got to figure out the spacing for this bottom 7 euro. So let's pull out some keycaps and figure out what the heck my spacing is. I always forget the spacing. So let's see what we got. Oh, it's upside down. There we go. All right. I don't need this side. I need my 7U stuff. All right, here we go. 7U goodness. So I got that. I need my controls, my alts, and then we'd be good. So awesome. Sweet. Yeah, this is also again, Classic Beige, super. Yeah, I know. See, you guys are intelligent. That's why I asked the chat, and then they know what they're doing. But I'm also, like I said, I'm not a professional. That's why I leave the professionalism to like Frank and everybody. Or like Teja, the people who actually know what they're doing. I'm just a guy. So that's just my thing. So, hey, I learned something new today, everybody. It's always closest to the 7U. Thank you, sir. You are awesome, man. Oh, look at that. It works. All right, cool. We're going to put these away. All right, I think we're good to start firing up the soldering iron, everybody. But yeah, we have 105 keys on this puppy, so it's really kind of nice. So we have our standard AT101 layout. So we're going wing keyless, 7U spacebar, 1.5U modifiers in the bottom. And we also have these kind of 4 macro keys at the very top. So I have some GMK releginables I'm going to put right here to make it look really cool. But it looks really good. And here's the back of the PCB that we're going to kind of go through, which is really cool. So Really, really cool board. Also, one shout out to Linworks I think is really cool for this board is there is no mounting points under the spacebar. So major props to you guys for doing that, Linworks. It is fantastic. So really cool. So I'm going to get my soldering iron fired up and we're going to get this puppy going. I'm going to get my temperature dialed in. And once that's heated up, we'll start, again, firing this up. So, yeah, so, all right. So let's put these keycaps away. Let's put my spacebar stuff away. All right, let's solder these puppies in. All right, let's put my 100 NG away for a second over there. There we go. You can also see my neon cat. So, all right, cool. Let's see what we got. Making sure all my pins are good. I really hope I didn't bend any pins, everybody. All right, like I said, I semi know what I'm doing. So, welcome, friends. All right, we're fired up, everybody. Again, this is a really cool board. I got some other boards coming in a group buy that we're gonna build on stream as well. I got Darian's O2 from DNWorks coming in this week. That's his Darling theme board, which is gonna be really sick. So if you're interested in an O2, definitely tune in to stream when we get that one. Yeah. I don't know. I like having bottom row options. This supports 6.25U bottom rows, which is nice. I prefer 7U spacebars and wing keyless. So the fact that it supports both and giving people those options is really nice. So, all right, folks. So I got this little vent, so that's the kind of thing you're going to be hearing. I don't want to breathe in all this solder fume crap, so let's get it going. So there we go. Holy God, all you are on here. God, you guys like invaded me today. I love it. Alright. Just like doing my 4 corners. Yeah, I always do like 4 corners and then I just kind of solder in. This is the most glorious part of the build, everybody. Not really, but it's a necessary one, so. Awesome. I got those corners in. Awesome. Alright, we're going to go over here and solder everything in and we'll get going. So, it's pretty good, everybody. But yeah, this is the part that's going to take a while. I got 105 switches to solder for this puppy, so. The times I wish I was into hot swap. I swear. But, hey, it's working, everybody. We're gonna get through this board. So, a really sick board, but, again, I don't know how many people outside of East Asia. 107, oh my god. Yeah, probably you're right. It's crazy. It's a lot of switches. That's what I put, so. There we go. We got my 4 corners in. Everything's held. I'm going to do my bottom space row first. And then we'll just kind of work our way around the board doing everything. So there's a method to my madness how we do this. Awesome. Holy cow, people. I'm like having fun today. You guys, what the heck? Yeah, like I said, I'm just a guy who's here having fun. So, yeah, really cool board. And I love that the PCB is purple, so shout out to Linworks for going with a purple PCB. I really, really like the PCB. Alright, cool. We got our spacebar row done. That's nice. We're going to do our air cluster right here really quick, and then we'll do our home cluster, and then we'll do the numpad, and then we'll come back to the main alpha and F row cluster. Awesome. So, again, most of my boards are solder, so I can make pretty quick work of solder boards. So it's pretty quick time. Alright. Perfect. Coming through. Our arrows are done. We're going to our home cluster now. Pretty good stuff right here. Alright. Awesome. Cool. Home cluster is coming along, folks. And we're making quick work of this board. This is, again, going back to Cherry MX builds is pretty satisfying because Alps builds are very involved, kind of a pain in the butt. So it's nice being able to go back to my Cherry MX builds and have them be super straightforward and not too crazy. So awesome. Making quick work of this home cluster right here. Awesome. Making quick work of it. Awesome. Cool. We got our home cluster going, and then now we're gonna do our 4 macro keys up here. So really, really fun board. Awesome. Let's finish our numpad. Yeah, it's coming along. We make pretty quick work of this board. So, yeah, I've gotten pretty good at soldering since I got into the primarily having solder boards in my collection. So, I think in my personal collection, most of my boards are going to be solder. I really don't mess with hot swap anymore. So, good times. Cool. Coming along. Almost done with the numpad, so making pretty quick work of this board. So I'd say we'll probably be done soldering in the next, I'd say like 10 or so minutes, and then we can start doing keycaps and all the fun stuff of seeing if it's sandwich mount or whatever the heck Linenworks wants to do for this board. So alright, number pad is done. I'm going to wipe off my soldering tip and we'll kind of move on to the next one. So, fun times, everybody. So, again, we got our, again, home cluster, air cluster, and we got our numpad done. We got our bottom row done. Now we're going to go into our main alpha cluster and F rows. So, pretty cool. So, we're making quick work of this, folks. So, pretty easy, pretty sweet stuff. So get myself some more solder to work with, and we're going to kind of go on down. So once the soldering is done, then we can do the fun part of putting the assembly in the case and really seeing the board come together, and we'll get keycaps and then a typing test. So we're starting with the F row. Making pretty quick work of this F row. Awesome. Sorry, some switches weren't seated correctly. Good night, people. Alright, it's all good. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome. Again, all my socials up there on the screen, everybody. So, we're here to have some fun. Alright. Holy cow. Alright, we're just doing our modifiers right here on the side, and then we'll move on to our numbers and our alphas. Making very quick work of this board. Awesome. So, oh my god, there's still a lot of people in here. Hello, friends. So, alright, almost done with our modifiers, and then we can do our numbers and our alphas, and we are almost there, folks. So, making pretty quick work of this board. So, really cool. But thank you for friends are coming on and joining us here. Again, I'm just a guy who's here having fun. So, All right, all we need to do is our main alpha cluster and our numbers, folks, and then we are pretty much ready to start moving on to the case assembly. So we're just making quick work, soldering all these switches in. So we got about 105 switches on this board we're doing. So really cool stuff. We're doing our number row right now. So it's coming along. Alright, we got our number row coming. So again, we're making pretty quick work of this board. I'm really excited to see the end result. We're almost there, folks. Almost done with the number row, and we got 3 more alpha rows, and then we are done soldering. Nice. Looking good, everybody. Look at that. I'm going to push my cutout back a little bit. Alright, I'm going to come back here and kind of work my way on the top. But again, friends, thank you for jumping in. Awesome, awesome. So, still the last of our alphas. And then we'll be ready to start testing this puppy. Awesome. So we're making very quick work of this board, folks. I really like it. Awesome. Got 2 more rows, and then we are done soldering, folks. And making very quick work of this board. Awesome, awesome, friends. Coming along. There we go. Alright, almost done with this row, and then we got 1 more row of soldering, folks. Again, we're making pretty quick progress of this particular board. So, again, this is the Linworks Dolphin Max. This is Linworks full-size keyboard that they ran a group buy earlier in 2025. So, huge shout out to Feather and the guys over at Keyspensory for allowing me to join this group buy. When this group buy was announced, it was primarily going to be East Asia only. So I reached out to the guys over at Keyspensory and I asked them, like, hey, would you sell this to someone in the United States? And they said, as long as you pay for shipping, we are happy to sell you one. So I'm like, I'm very thankful and grateful for Feather and the guys over there for facilitating this group buy and allowing me to, again, purchase this really beautiful board. So a lot of love for, again, the Keyspensory fellows. So last row, everybody, and then we can kind of see this final PCB assembly, and then we'll get ready for the case. Awesome, we have like 7 more switches. Looking good. Awesome, we got 3 more switches, everybody. Awesome. All right. We are done soldering, everybody. All right. Let's turn that soldering iron off. Let's turn my vent off. There we go. awesome. So I'm just going to wrap up my solder, and then let's get a look at, I just want to double check I got every solder point, and then we'll put the PCB over to the sides. I just want to double check we got everything soldered, didn't miss any switches or any pins. Numpad, home cluster, arrow cluster looks good. Bottom row is looking solid. All right, I think we are good. Awesome, awesome, everybody. So there we go. So we have all of our solder joints. So we have 105 switches here, folks. So we're using the Key Geek Blue Cheese switches here, folks. So really, really cool switch. I really love it. So this is going to give us kind of a little more of a deep, kind of flocky sound, believe it or not. So I'm going to put that. I'm going to put the PCB away, because we're going to focus on our case assembly now. So, oh my god, so here is the star of the show. So we have the Linenworks Dolphin Max case. So I want to get the feetsies out. Give me a second. Where did I put the feet? Where are you? Give me a second, everybody. Technical difficulties. Where'd it go? There it is. There it is. Sorry about that. All right, let's put these rubber feet on the bottom, just so I actually. Oh, sweet. They're not adhesive. Thank God. Major shout out to also for people who are running group buyers or designing boards. I love it when you have these feet, kind of like, I don't know, they kind of remind me how Gian does his feet. They just kind of stick in there. They don't need adhesive. It's so great. So thank you Linenworks, for doing feet like that. That just makes life 1,000 times easier. So there we go. Look at that. Look at that. Looking good. So perfect. All right, let's get my screwdriver bit set out and move my little work pad. We're not needing that, but look at that puppy. Look at that. That is gorgeous. Gorgeous case. All right, let's get my screwdriver out and let's figure out how we're going to put our PCB in. So I want to get my little screw tray here, and we're going to unscrew these screws. So the one thing about this board, it is a hidden screw design. You either love that design or you hate it. I personally am not a fan of hidden screw designs, but it's not the end of the world. It's not going to affect like the sound or the performance of the board, in my personal opinion. So it's just it's just an annoyance if I do have to take the board apart. But I'm the kind of person, once I get a board built, I just want to keep it that way. So this board I don't plan to really take apart. I have it kind of set up the way I want. I knew I wanted these Key Geek Blue Cheese switches. I will be swapping out the keycaps eventually, but that doesn't require me to fully disassemble the case. So that's really good. So we have 8 screws total that hold down the top case to the bottom case for this hidden screw design. So that is just something to note. You have 8 case screws. So we'll do that. Perfect. And we'll kind of get a little bit of a better overview of what the case looks like. About an hour and a half. Yeah, we should be out of here in the next like 15, 20 minutes, folks. So we're on the home stretch. All right, let's pull that apart. And there we go. All right, so here is our top case. Again, made out of aluminum, so this is very, very light. Most of the weight is going to be that brass weight on the bottom, but really good. I think overall, I'm just looking at the coating. I think they did a really good job with this coating. I'm also a big fan of beige. So I'll put my top case away, but yeah, it does look like that sandwich mount y'all were talking about. Just want to check my case, see if there's anything else that was included that I need. I don't think so. No, all right, we're good. Yeah, we're good. Just making sure. So, all right, let's grab our PCB and let's put that in. So I have our PCB assembly here. Let's put that to the side really quick. I also just want to kind of showcase the interior of this case. So this is a really hefty case. Most of this weight is coming from this gigantic brass weight right here. So again, that takes up like half of the bottom of the case. So this is a pretty hefty board once it's built. But you have this SR Industries and Linenworks branding right here in the interior of the case. But overall, it looks really good. So I really like how this board came out. But yeah, it's a really, really cool design. So let's put our PCB in here. Awesome, awesome. Just kind of, and then we'll get going. So here's our PCB assembly. Gonna drop it in. There we go. So we got that sandwich mount, as people were kind of talking about. So, oh my gosh, that red plate looks awesome. So really, really cool, folks. Let's get that top case put on. And we're going to kind of really see things come together for this board. Oh my goodness, that looks so sick. so sick. I love this. I love this board. I'm so happy I finally have it in hand, friends. So let's start putting in our screws, and then we'll get our keycaps, and then we'll do a sound test, and then we're going to get on out of here. And then everyone just kind of be on the lookout on seeing this board on Reddit and Discord, some Discord servers, and again, also my Instagram page, Finley Design Works, folks. So if you want to see, just kind of see some more close-up pics, that's what we're going to have. You're going to see pics of this board around, folks. So I'm really, really happy to have this board. I think it looks gorgeous. I can't wait to hear how it sounds. Just getting these screws in here very carefully, just so we don't hurt our case. There we go. Awesome. Got 4 more screws we're going to put in, and then we'll be ready to put the keycaps on and give this board its identity. So it looks really, I think it came out really good. Really, really nice look. All right, there's that one. Awesome, awesome, friends. And then this one right here. Perfect. All right, we are pretty much done with our screwdriver stuff. Put my solder away. Done with screws. Let me put my that away. All right, cool. Awesome. Give me a second. Just put some stuff away. All right, friends. We're going to start putting keycaps on this puppy. So let me just put this puppy to the side just so I can get my keycap box. All right, we're going to be doing our space bars. See how that sounds? Pretty good. Pretty good. So control. Oh wait, over here. Awesome, awesome. Looking good. All right, let's get the rest of the keycap set over here. All right, again, we are using GMK Classic Beige on this particular board. This is not the final set that is going to go on this board. I purchased GMK Hyper Beige on Group Buy, so I'm probably not going to see that till later this year. So once that set comes in, again, that'll be the actual final set. But for the meantime, this is the set that's going to live on this board, and it's I mean Classic Beige is going to go. It just already goes perfect with this colorway of this particular keyboard. So I'm really excited how this one came out. Oh, that sounds so good. So I love it. We're going to put a cherry enter on that in a second. So we're going to do our main cluster first. But it looks phenomenal. Look at that. Oh. Yeah, a little bit of a deeper sound on this one. So we have a little more of a thought, as certain people in the hobby say. So it looks great. So it is gorgeous. Look at that. So, all right, and also with this set, I have the Hangul Sub-Legend. So we're gonna have some Korean on this board, which is super sick. So, O, P, we have A. Put our home cluster keys in here too. But yeah, this Classic Beige looks so good on this board. I love it. Oh my gosh. So this looks so good. Awesome. Let's put my other symbols here, just so we have a nice, good look on this board. I'm in love with this board, folks. I think it came out awesome. Perfect. Let's put my home cluster in. Oh, pause goes over here. Oops. And then pause is right here. Home, page up. We got our delete. There we go. Awesome. All right, we're done with this first tray. Let me get my second tray out. Just finished doing our alphas. That doesn't go there. We've got our hingle. But yeah, it's looking pretty good so far. So let's get the rest of this one going. Looking really good. Alright, we're going to put a cherry enter on this puppy. Because, of course, we're putting a cherry enter on it. Yeah. There we go. Look at that. We have to put a cherry enter on it. Give me a second. Alright, we're going to put some lights. Oh, yeah. Look at that. This looks sick, people. I am very happy with how this came out so far. Alright. Z. X. C. E. B. N. And M. Alright, now we just need to do our number cluster. Yeah, we just got to do our numpad. Let me move it over here a little bit, just so we can see a little more clear. There we go, friends. But yeah, it's coming out. Look at that. It looks pretty good so far. So, all right, let's put our plus and our enter here. We got our delete down there. Let's put our 1, 2, and 3. 4, 5, and 6. And then we have our macros up there, which I have to go get that set for it. So look at that, friends. So we have one more. I have some GMK relegendables I got to put up there. So let me just put this set away. And then I'll go grab the relegendables kit. I forgot to get those out before we did this build. So let's grab those really quick. All right. Awesome. Give me a second, friends. All right. There we go. Sorry about that, friends. Ow. Here we go, friends. We got my GMK relegendables. Those are going to go up here in this little macro area up here. So, alright. So, looking good. So I'll put those right there. I'm just going to add my little accent up there. Alright, let's put this to the side. Look at that. Alright, here we go. We got our Linenworks Dolphin Max, everybody. Look at that chunk. That is a sick, sick board, everybody. Look at that. So, I love how this came out. So, we have GMK Classic Beige. We have KeyGeek Blue Cheese V1 linear switches on here. So, I want to do a quick little test. So, I'm going to take my Matrix, let me take my 100NG and put that to the side. So let's plug this in, and I want to open up my switch tester. Oh yeah, look at that. That is absolutely gorgeous. Let's fire up Via or Vial. I forget which one this is. All right, I think it's a Vial board. So let me open a Vial really quick. Give me a second. It's thinking. It's thinking. Ooh, might have to flash it. Okay. Well. There we go. May have to flash this board later on, but let's go to the key tester at least. Cool, keys are working. All right, cool.
Victory or die!
Holy shit. Sorry about that, everybody. Oh my gosh, you have to hear my Spotify. I'm so sorry. I don't want to be deaf. So, sorry about that, everybody. Hope Spotify don't get too mad at me. All right, folks. All the keys work. It took it a second, so I'm going to unplug it just so we can kind of do a sound test. So, I'm going to do a quick little sound test, everybody, and then we'll get on out of here. So, let me just put my little microphone right here, and we'll get out of here, folks. So, we'll do a quick little sound test, and then we'll be on out of here, folks. So, all right, here we go. So, this is GMK Classic Beige with KeyGeek Blue Cheese V1 linear switches. All right, I love how that sounds. That's a nice little deep sound. I think it's cool. Let me just move my microphone up there. There we go, friends. All right, cool. So everyone, thank you for those of you who tuned in. This was a build stream of the Linworks Dolphin Max. Really cool board. It's a board I'm very thankful to have. Before we get on out of here, I want to show a quick little shot of what it looks like next to my other full sizes in my collection, which are also equally as expensive. So we have Darian's 925. So we got my Matrix Labs 100NG. We have the Dolphin Max. And then, of course, we have Darian's 925. So this is all very expensive keyboards, but it's really kind of cool. So, friends, thank you so much for everyone tuning in. The VOD will be on my YouTube channel later today, everybody. So thank you so much.